Hi, and thanks for joining me again on Monsta MTV, another episode today, and we are going to talk about dampness and leaks and what is the difference between the two. We're in the winter months now around most parts of Australia, so often we have situations come up where people ask that they have a dampness problem, they want to deal with it, and they're not sure if it's actually a leak or if it's damp. And they are related, and this is probably a bit of a complex issue to talk about, but I'm going to try and explain it as clearly as I can. A leak is probably an easier one to sort out, because when you have a leak, wherever you're seeing the leaking problem, if it's on a ceiling or a wall, it should be fairly wet and constantly wet, and that really means that you've got an active leak because it's never drying out, and it's probably more wet than having a mold or a mildew type odour around the place. If you do have that, that could come from a number of areas. Now, there's a lot of examples. I'm just going to give you a couple here, but you could have a leaking shower, you could have a broken pipe in a wall, you could have a gutter problem that's causing rain to come back inside or water to come back inside, a roof leak example. But let me go back to a leaking shower, for example. I've dealt with these for many, many years with customers in other businesses that we have. And so two-storey houses, for example, if you've got a bathroom upstairs, you may have a ceiling that's wet below. And normally that is a first indication that you've got a shower or a bathroom that's leaking above. And that ceiling is constantly wet. Now that is a completely different situation you might have to a mouldy ceiling. So how would you test for that? Look, the thing with leaks is, the bottom line is you're going to need to get a professional involved most times, but you can save yourself some money by trying to find out exactly what the problem is instead of paying people hours of labour to try and do a process of elimination. So if it was a leaking shower, for example, you turn all the taps off, you plug the floor drain up with either a tennis ball or some duct tape, and then you fill the shower base up with a bucket of water that you've filled from a hose or a tap that's independent from the shower. Pour it in there and let that settle for maybe 24 hours. If there's a leak that comes through after you pour that water in the base, it's just sitting there, and you can do that, we call that a flood test for 24 hours. If the leak comes through, then you've got a leaking shower base. However, if you do that and you haven't got a leak, then it's more than likely that it's a plumbing issue, and that's when you know that you need a plumber. You bring them in and direct them to the problem you've got. Same thing with gutter issues, that sometimes you can have a roof gutter that could be leaking or an overflow problem and the water's coming back into the house. You would see a constant damp or a wet issue, particularly when it's raining if it's outside. So look, these are situations where if it's that type of leak, you will have a constantly wet surface. However, compared to dampness, if it's dampness, these are common ones, and you're seeing a couple come up on the screen now, where it's more to do with perhaps a slow ingress of moisture into a surface, or it could be a problem elsewhere that's then migrated inside. And real common ones we see are things like garden beds. People have got a perimeter garden outside, watering all the time, sprinklers on, and then they almost find that either carpets or vinyl inside, or even the architrave skirting, start to get a damp stain or a mould, and that mildew smell is a common one. That situation there needs to be dealt with. If you see it's mould and it's just sort of getting bigger, what the cause of it is. If it's a perimeter wall and you've got that garden on the other side, then it's likely that that's contributed to the problem. Or is there any other source of moisture that could be around that area where the mould is growing, or the dampness, the signs of dampness that you're seeing. The other thing is, you could have a very slow trickle leak or a drip in a pipe in a wall, in a masonry wall, but not enough to actually create a leaking problem, and that could be coming through. So you need to determine if it's something that you're doing from the inside where the dampness is, or is it being contributed from the other side. I mean, we've seen this before where perimeter walls, like I said before, garden beds contribute to a problem, and then they go and waterproof the garden bed and the problem's still there. And the fact is, the other wall could be connected to a laundry, and it could be just a problem in the laundry where water's just going from the washing machine into the tiles below and into that wall and causing that leak and that dampness. So these are things that you really need to be aware of. Dampness and leaks are not disconnected, they're obviously connected, but if it's a leak, it's something you want to deal with very, very quickly, because the more that you deny dealing with the issue, the more damage is going to happen with it. A dampness one, you've got maybe a bit more time to try and work it out. The time of the year that you're also dealing with it. So now with the winter months, these are common things that come up. We do have help that we can give you. The Monsta crew can give you some support and help in guiding you on how to fix those problems. At the moment, we have not got those products in the Monsta range, but we definitely can give you support and assistance there. However, there are good professionals out there that can help you with dampness and leaking problems. A lot of the times it may be insured, so you want to make sure that before you go and do things yourself, you're not buggering up your insurance policies as well, or a warranty if it's a newer home. But try a few of those things, check out, push in any questions if you want our way. We can help you with more details and advice on that, and hopefully we'll minimise your leaks this winter. See you next time.